For this edition of Speaker Series, I drove north to Thurmont, Maryland to visit good friend Chris Stevens, co-owner of Eurotech Classics. In addition to owning a business with his brother Mark, building and servicing vintage European cars, he co-hosts Discovery Channel's Garage Rehab, which is currently in its second season. Chris was the first guest speaker of the Leap Forward Club and spoke to a packed classroom about his experiences running a business and starring on television. This is his story.
All right, so my name's Chris Stevens. I'm the owner of a shop called Eurotech Classics out in Frederick, Maryland, and I'm also on a TV show called Garage Rehab on the Discovery Channel. So it's kind of an odd, like, how'd you get from working on cars or even just in Maryland to then, the whole Hollywood scene where you're doing television. So I'll kind of get into that a little bit and why it might be interesting to you and why it's kind of cool to hear about. So I started off in Montgomery County, right? So Montgomery County Public Schools, Darnestown Elementary, Ridgeview Middle School, Quince Orchard High School, and then finally I graduated from Northwest High School in Germantown, Maryland. That whole time, I was obsessed with cars. Anything that took me out of the house to drive me away. So right when I was 16, the day I turned 16, I got my driver's license and I started driving. Now, you go, well, how'd you get the car, right? So I'm going to kind of tell you that process too, because I didn't have rich parents and I didn't have a car given to me or anything else. All I knew is I was obsessed with these things. I got to have one. So around 14 years old, I decided on, okay, I can't afford a new car. I'm going to buy a very old car. Probably not the best decision, but this is where it kind of leads into this future, into where I'm at now. So at 14 years old, I found an old car sitting in my friend's neighborhood, and it was a really cool, interesting car. It was a 1975 Porsche 914. So you might think, oh my God, Porsche, your first car. It's like, no, it was an old car. It wasn't worth anything, but I knew it had potential, right? So I left a note on this car at 14 years old. I get a call back. Yeah, I'll sell you the car. It ran years ago. So I grabbed this car and I started the restoration process with my father. And over the next 2 years, we got this car looking pretty good. What I didn't realize is driving a car like that every day, it broke down a lot. A lot. Like probably on a daily basis or every other day, I'm working on it. So because of that, now I'm learning how to wrench. Because I'm learning how to wrench, I gotta buy the wrench. I gotta buy the tools. I gotta have a place to work on this car. So I was doing that after school. In between classes, I'd run out to the parking lot, like my lunch in high school, I'd run out to the parking lot and tweak this or change this. Well, what I didn't know is that this was actually paving my career for the rest of my life. Because I'm obsessed with these cars, it was something I was really passionate about, just like some people are with sports or fashion or entertainment or whatever it may be, is sometimes you don't realize that this is what's going to actually carve your entire future. After high school, driving to work at Sheehy Ford in Gaithersburg, where I was just washing cars, I thought that was pretty cool. Like, I don't have to work on them. It was kind of an easy way to make a quick buck. It was just detailing cars. So I did that for years. I decided, well, what other way I could go to college, which was an option, but it was an expensive option. And at the time, like all my friends, they all graduated high school and they all went into colleges. They all got accepted into colleges and I had to go to a community college. Nothing wrong with the community college. It was great because I was able to earn a degree and I was able to make money at the same time because I was able to have a job. And I was close to my family, which was really important to me. I didn't want to leave my whole family away at 18 years old, move away from my mom and dad. I was able to stay there, have a job, start a small career, and work at getting my associate's degree at Montgomery College. After working so many jobs, I decided, well, why pay, this person for my work? If I'm doing manual labor, if I'm cleaning the car, why is somebody making all that money, but I'm the one cleaning the car? So then I decided, well, I'm going to detail cars on my own. So a couple of my friends got together and we did that all summer long. You know, we're charging 80 to 100 bucks for these car details. It would take us an hour, easy, quick, clean money, right? It was cash. So then I decided I'm going to open up my own shop. And this is probably, I'm 20 years old at this time. My older brother, he was already a mechanic over at Volkswagen. And I said, well, let's open up a shop together. So we started that. Owning your own business now. And that could be a coffee shop, a barber shop, whatever it is, it's all pretty much the same. You need to know how to run your papers, how to delegate your time, you know, your supplies, and then figure out the end all, like how much you're actually going to profit from this. So I did that, but also following my passion. I'm still working on the cars that I loved so much. So it didn't really feel like work. You know, you'll start hearing this as you get older. People say, well, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Yeah, that's not completely true, because even on things you love, it's still work, it's still hard work, and there's still very stressful moments. But so I'm working at this shop, I'm there with my brother, so it's a family-owned business. I'm learning a lot of things that I wasn't taught in school. I wish there was programs like this out there that could teach me these things, like how do you start a business? I mean, it's so mythical, right? I learned about math and history and English. I didn't really know, like, well, how does your dad have his own business? Or, you know, how was Nike started? How are these things invented? How does it snowball into this, like, lifelong career? So I learned that on my own. Okay, now I have my own automotive business. I have my own business card. I have my own website. I have these things that I created and now I own it. Well, after probably 13 years of that, you know, I'm on the internet just like everyone else, and I was on a Facebook page, and something kind of came along about a TV audition for an automotive show. But it was very specific, too. It wasn't like I went out looking to be on television. I liked TV, but I didn't really think that it could ever happen. So I'm sitting there and I see this ad on Facebook, and I'm like, all right, so fill it out, which is something I usually don't do, but I did it that day because it was very targeted towards me. It was seeking a successful shop owner. For television, it's like, that doesn't happen. And if it happens, it doesn't happen very often. So I figured I might as well take the extra steps and do it. At that time, I was like, okay, let's try television. I've never been an actor. I've never done acting classes. I wasn't in the drama school, nothing like that. But I figured, okay, I like working on cars, but let's see where it can go next. So after that application, it went on to some further interviews. And before you know it, I'm out in LA and I'm shooting a promo for this new television series. But it all happened very fast. And what I want, like, especially you guys and girls to understand is that sometimes you got to be at the right place at the right time. Sometimes there's a little bit of luck involved in forming that path. Because sure, I could have been a mechanic and a shop owner for the rest of my life. Maybe nothing ever happened. But because I took that extra step out of my day and saw this new, almost like a new job application, in a sense, and filled it out, now all of a sudden I'm visiting places like Los Angeles, Hollywood, Texas, Key West, Florida, these amazing places all over the country because I just went a little bit outside of my everyday, my day-to-day routine. And even at your age, you're going to have a day-to-day routine. You're probably going to go to school, you're going to go home, you're going to study, and you're going to do great at your homework, then you have dinner, do all those things. But maybe just every once in a while do something outside of that day. Now, 5 years ago, there's no way I'd ever tell you that I'm going to be on television. So I didn't know. I wasn't planning for it. But because I took that step away from my day-to-day routine, all of a sudden now it's there. And because of what I learned along the way, it's that, okay, because I learned how to run a small business, it applies to this TV show. I didn't know that was going to happen. So that's why there's a little bit of luck, almost a little bit of faith that, wow, this happened out of nowhere, kind of just out of the clear blue sky. All of a sudden, now I'm on television because of A, B, and C I did before. All the way back in high school and middle school because I restored that vehicle. It's that butterfly effect they talk about. It's almost like, what's the reaction that takes you to that next step? That's what it was. It all started from the car magazine, to then wrenching on the cars, to the first car that I owned, to the first job that I got because I wanted to wash cars or just be around cars because that's what I knew. So get a job you're comfortable with. To then opening up your own shop that's a family-run business. And then the next step was then getting on a TV show that's about automotive garages. I would have never been able to plan that out. If my guidance counselor back in middle school and high school told me, plan out your career, this sure wouldn't have been it, because this would have been a dream. There's no way, because it hasn't been done. That's the other thing, is maybe you don't need to be the policeman or the fireman. There could be a job that hasn't even been created yet or invented yet, and that could be you. So what I'm going to end this with is basically stay true to what you believe in. Be passionate about something. Get into something, because it's a great hobby. It's a good way to stay focused on something. And it should be fun too. If something starts feeling like it's difficult or too hard, but also that you're losing the fun in it too, try something else. If you don't like the degree you're going after, if you are in college and you're going after something, you go, you know what? When I was 18, I wanted to learn this. But now that I'm 20, I don't want to do it. So change it. You can always change it. Every day you can wake up and completely change your life just by stepping outside of your day-to-day routine. So on that, enjoy what you do. Listen to everybody, because people are going to tell you, listen to your parents and things like that. You should, because they know what they're talking about. And have fun with what you're doing. Be passionate and, chase after those dreams.